And we are officially live. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are back here with TBL Season 12. We are officially into week 2, and boy, do we have a great matchup for you this week. But before we get into that, it is I, your host, Finfin, here with my co commentator, Talon. Talon, as always, great to have you here.
It's a Friday night. It's time for fighting, and the big game is right around the corner. So, yeah, let's get into this big. Oh, look, this is a big game right here. Oh, look,
It,
it's a game I'm talking about. I'm not talking about big game this weekend. This is the weekend.
it absolutely is. For our American friends, Sunday is going to be a busy day with the Super Bowl going on, but we still have Pokemon all throughout this weekend, and kicking off the weekend is the New York Empoleons taking on the Atlanta Victory Stars. Two coaches coming off wins in dominant fashions. The New York Empoleons securing 2 points in their 3-0 victory, securing them first place in Violet, while the Atlanta Victory Stars secured a solid 3 points with a 5-0 victory, putting them first in the Scarlet Conference. So, two teams, it's only been 1 week, but they are technically in first place in each of their conferences. And man, do they look like they are ready to try and continue that trend.
Yeah, they definitely look ready for that. I mean, Playmaker was absolutely crazy with his game last week. I mean, getting that 5-0 victory. I mean, yeah, it's only worth 3 points in the TBL, but I mean, you want the points and you want the diffs. So he got a double whammy on that set.
Absolutely. And the Empoleon's Iron Hands just helped secure a very solid victory. But let's take a look at the full lineups. The New York Empoleon, led by their first overall pick, Meowscarada, supported with Terra Captains Staraptor and Frostmoth. But rounding out the team, we do have Ironmoth, Staraptor, Primarina, Spidops, Donphan, Iron Hands, and Iron Boulder, making this a true Iron team. But on the flip side, we have the Atlanta Victory Stars. Their primary pick was the Garchomp. A lot of questions when that was taken because Great Tusk was there. However, Garchomp looking to prove the naysayers wrong as the Victory Stars round out their team with Terra Captains Umbreon and Spidops. Or sorry, not Spidops. Araquanid. I had a bit of a brain fart there. They also are supported by Corviknight, Clefable, Cinderace, Raikou, Hisuian Zoroark. Um, then we have Necrozma, and of course, last but not least, we do have um, their Virizion. So
Yeah, I mean,
right off the bat, what are you liking in this matchup?
well, I mean, when we're looking at this matchup here, I mean, I'll start with Playmaker because the Atlanta Victory Stars, uh, the Garchomp seems like it's got a really good matchup in this game because of its ground typing, helping out against that Iron Moth, which is quadruple weak. You have the Meowscarada, who technically can counter it though with someone like a triple axle, but I mean, every Pokemon that is an Iron Pokemon on Gold's team, they do not want to take an Earthquake from that Garchomp. So I I shudder to think what would happen if those three are out there at any point in time if Garchomp is there. On the flip side, though, with Garchomp, you have to watch out for that Frostmoth, and you have to watch out for Primarina because Primarina with something like a Moonblast, I mean, I don't care if it's singles or VGC. If a Garchomp can't Terra, it does not want to take a Fairy type move, especially from Primarina.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, but you also have potentially a Skarmory on the other side that can come in, possibly Wall or Whirlwind if it's a setup Garchomp. So a lot of interesting options there, but I agree with you. Garchomp looks absolutely fierce here. If it can get off a Sword Stance, it's naturally a high speed, will make things interesting, especially since the Mons that want to come in with it. If it can get a speed boost, great. If not, Meowscarada's triple axle with Protean can potentially put in work. On the New York Empoleon side, though, the Mon that I am very much excited to be on the lookout for is going to be that Iron Boulder. I mean, it with natural speed is the fastest Mon between the two teams, so we could potentially see booster speed shenanigans, a Sword Stance, or maybe even just a Choice Band because Choice Band and Mighty Cleave, you do have a Garchomp to take the hit, you do have a Virizion, but outside of that, it just puts in so much work against this team. So I'm curious to see how the Iron Boulder is going to fare if it comes.
I'm also curious about the Iron Boulder myself because, I mean, as somebody who has used Iron Boulder in the past, both in singles and again in VGC, that mon hits like a Mack truck if you get it like just set up properly.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, One thing I would love to see from Goldoa's side here, which would be absolutely hilarious if he did do it. I would love if one of his Iron Pokemon, like maybe Iron Moth, like just as a sack, maybe. Huh. Finn, have you ever heard of Electric Terrain Iron Moth to set up Iron Hands or an Iron Boulder?
It would go absolutely insane. I mean, that was one of the things Gold was debating early in the season was does he possibly draft maybe Pinchirin or something to set up electric terrain. But it would absolutely go nuts for these Mons to get that kind of boost. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think the best way to really make the most of it is not just waiting around and speculating, but let's let these coaches go ahead and start their battle.
I would think that'd be a good idea, is to get this battle started. Uh, I am also curious, though, about the Terra types on both sides for this battle because we only talked about the Terra captains, but we didn't really talk about Terra types that would probably be beneficial for either side if they had to go with terrestrialization because sometimes you terrestrialize first, it doesn't usually bode well for you. So honestly, if there's a Terra type that you would think that would come out in this battle, Finn, what do you think it would be?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, as we can see from the screen, the Terra Captains coming are going to be Staraptor and the Umbreon. So now that we know what the Terra Captains are, I think the Terra types that we're likely to see, I feel like Terra Staraptor would potentially just go flying or just go normal. It, with Reckless, just packs such a hit that even Resist Mons don't want to swap in on it. On the flip side, with Umbreon coming, it's going to be more of a defensive set. I would imagine we could potentially see something like, say, fire or poison, just to take away the uh, berry weakness that its dark type does normally have. So that way, Primarina isn't necessarily the go-to answer for it.
That actually does make a lot of sense there. Uh, I mean, yeah, Staraptor with that Terra flying. I mean, again, I've never seen how powerful Reckless Staraptor can be, but this is going to be my first experience with it. So I'm assuming that even Umbreon does not want to take Reckless boosted Brave Birds or Double Edges.
No, and this is going to be an exciting one to watch. We do see here the sets Meowscarada running protective pads, likely in anticipation of Garchomp being the answer, so that way it can run the triple axle and not get hit multiple times. Scarf on the Staraptor, Specs on the Primarina, Punching Glove on the Iron Hands, Focus Sash on the Iron Moth, which is interesting, and Choice Band on the Iron Boulder. On the flip side, we do have the items in the sets for Playmaker's team. They consist of Light Clay on the Raikou, Choice Scarf on the Cinderace, Weakness Policy for both the Necrozma and the Umbreon, Chardy Berry for the Araquanid, and Salac Berry for the Garchomp. So some very interesting sets, and right off the bat, we see Scarfmon versus Scarfmon. Very curious what ends up happening here, but it's Scarfer versus Scarfer, and whichever one of these Mons survives becomes the fastest Mon naturally in the game. And right off the bat, we see the
Well,
Staraptor Terra.
and it's going to be the Terra Flying. You called it, Finn. So Terra Flying Staraptor here. Now, Cinderace is naturally the faster Pokemon here, and it's just going to go for the U-turn, try to switch out here. And if Playmaker noticed that Staraptor didn't go for Intimidate there, he probably knows that this is reckless. So
Yep.
my guess is he brings in that Raikou here for maybe a resist.
Yeah, and what's interesting here is because the Staraptor is scarfed, Cinderace being scarfed is now revealed to Goldoa, but the flip side is not revealed to um, Play. And so it gets really dicey because just like you mentioned, Raikou being the only resist, uh, Brave Bird two shots it, and it outspeeds. So
Ooh, this will be interesting if that is the case.
I believe this Raptor's Brave Bird, now that it's Terrad, two shots everything at worst.
All right, well, in comes the Umbreon here. Nice shiny Umbreon with the nice blue here. Here comes that Brave Bird with the Terraflying, the Stab, the Reckless. Wow, over 2/3 of damage right there on an Umbreon without
Yeah,
defensive.
and honestly, there's no reason not to just go for it. Umbreon's going to take the fall here, immediately giving Goldoa an advantage with one Mon down, and it's the bulkier one.
And that's one of Playmaker's Terra Captains here, because Umbreon is a Terra Captain, Araquanid's also a Terra Captain, so the only way that Playmaker can Terra the rest of this battle is he has to Terra the Araquanid.
Yeah, so this is going to be very interesting now to see.
Now, see, what's unfortunate here for Goldoa is if this Raikou is packing something like that Volt Switch, there's no move or there's no switch that Goldoa can make here without something taking damage. I mean, yeah, the Iron Hands and the Meowscarada are resists, but even still, I don't think Goldoa wants to take any damage on those Mons right now.
I am actually a little surprised, in all honesty, that we didn't see the Cinderace come back in. Now, granted, you do have some fire resist Mons, but Pyro Ball would have made sure that this thing doesn't take any damage. And right off the bat, we see the Reflect come up. Potential issue. However, Iron Hands has the Brick Break, not letting the screens be an issue. Volt Switch will come out, but no Ghost type on Playmaker side, so this Brick Break will connect and break that screen.
And the Volt Switch did come out here, like I said, but Iron Hand's taken some damage here, even though it's resisted. And now it's just a matter of what comes in and is going to take this Brick Break. And it's going to be Thanos, which is the Necrozma. So this will be a resisted hit, though, but it does break the Reflect.
Yep, so now the question is, what do you go with? This Necrozma that we know does have Calm Mind, so it is a setup play. This Iron Hands, on the flip side, however, no momentum move, so it doesn't have Volt Switch, so it would have to be a hard switch out for Gold, which does potentially let this set up, or do you just start stacking Thunder Punches?
I mean, Necrozma, I believe it's normally a defensive Pokemon, but I mean, the fact that, you know, it does have access to someone like Calm Mind for setup here could be pretty interesting, but I wonder how much Punching Glove Iron Hands would do with someone like Thunder Punch.
Well, this is a very bulky Necrozma set, and so Gold's gonna have to be careful here not to click a, you know, super effective move that doesn't kill, like U-turn, because what that will do is that will pop the weakness policy of this Necrozma, and we do see the Calm Mind go for it here. This is a physically defensive Necrozma, so it will be interesting, but this Staraptor, if it just clicks its Brave Bird, it's not guaranteed to kill, but it is going to put this in immense weakness. I'm curious, though, because we do know that this has Moonlight. So Necrozma does have Moonlight. Do we see Playmaker make a read and say, hey, you can't kill me, but you're going to chip yourself, and I will recover almost all the health back?
It's very possible that Playmaker could go that route here, because, again, the fact that Necrozma can't... I mean, right now, Necrozma couldn't activate its weakness policy here, but we are just going to see a switch out here back in a Raikou, so Playmaker is going to take some big damage here from this Choice Scarf, Terraflying, Reckless, Brave Bird. How much damage into this Raikou? Well over 50%.
Now, the question is has Playmaker figured out that this is Scarf yet? Because if he hasn't, he may elect to go for a Volt Switch or a Reflect, hoping to reduce the damage. But if they stay in, I think this is going to be Staraptor getting a kill and Necrozma and Raikou taking it down with the recoil. We do see it stay in. Staraptor picks up its second kill.
2 kills
And
for
oh, I
Staraptor.
did not realize Staraptor would be able to hold on that much. I honestly thought that would be potentially close enough to kill it, but now Staraptor looks terrifying, and I think you have to go with the Cinderace, because it's the only thing that can outspeed it.
Yeah, you go into the Cinderace here. Staraptor, it's still around though with that 36 HP, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Playmaker just goes for a U-turn here just to keep Cinderace around and healthy.
Yep, that's
Yep.
exactly what happens.
There's the U-turn. He's going to switch the Cinderace out. And now, I mean, you lost your Raikou and you lost your Umbreon here. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe Necrozma or... No, it's actually Araquanid is coming out here.
Yeah, and
I mean,
interestingly enough, Araquanid is normally a very specially defensive mon. However, this is Specs Primarina. Moonblast just two-shots this.
It does, but we have to remember that Araquanid does have the ability to terrastalize here on Playmaker's side, so...
It does, and we see it come out.
The terastallization is coming out here into this Araquanid, and the Terra type is...
Poison.
Poison! Ooh! Okay, we got a poison Araquanid. Kind of fitting for a spider, that spiders are poisonous.
Still some solid damage there. And we see the liquidation come out, packing an absolute wallop there.
On a critical hit.
Yeah, I was going to say, that did a lot more than I was expecting from the calc, but crits will do that. Honestly, at this point, I'd be tempted just to click another Moonblast, make this thing a lot weaker, and sack Primarina, because you've got such an advantage here that you don't want to let something take unnecessary damage here. And if they decide to go for webs, then you punish and get the kill.
Yeah, I mean, Moonblast comes out again here. Good damage into the Araquanid. Special attack drop. Araquanid doesn't really care about that, but there is the Sticky Web. And then just one final Moonblast here, and
that should kill.
Araquanid goes down here, so 3 Pokemon down on Playmaker's side, but his last 3 are 3 of his best attacking mons, really.
Yeah, big advantage here for the new Compoleon now. Playmaker is restricted to at most earning 2 points as a result of this. We see Cinderace come out here. Curious what the move is going to be. Gold's just going to let this go down. He's full dedication just to be willing to sack. So what do we see come out from the Cinderace? We see another U-turn. Will that be enough to kill into the resist? It is.
It is. So Primarina goes down here, but Cinderace again switches out, and honestly, Playmaker has only clicked U-turn on the Cinderace. He has not shown any other moves to Gold.
And that's one of the ironic things of when a U-turn kills. U-turn, the momentum move, is now giving the momentum to your opponent.
You're definitely right there. But now here's the interesting thing with the sticky webs out here. Now anything that Gold sends out, I'm pretty sure he'll be slower than the rest of Playmaker's team. Maybe the Necrozma isn't faster than what Gold has left in the bag, but I mean, the Cinderace definitely will be, and I wonder if Garchomp will.
Yeah, the Staraptor is going to be the only thing because it is Terra flying, so that Terra does keep it off the ground. Normally a flying type, didn't Terra that away. So the Staraptor might be the emergency button here at the end. Here's something that's interesting. The Staraptor has Endeavor. Do we see Gold elect to click it here just to bring the Necrozma down in hopes that they go for a kill? I don't think that'd be a great move just because we can see that this Necrozma has recovery with Moonlight, but it would be absolutely interesting.
The other thing here, though, is that the Necrozma does have that weakness policy as its held item that you said in the team preview, Finn. And I'm actually curious as to whether or not a super effective choice banded throat chop will do enough here, but I would just click Mighty Cleave.
Mighty Cleave actually does more damage than a throat chop.
And that is just incredible, but also a little sad. And also, the boulder is faster than the Necrozma, -2, but there is a Moonlight.
Yeah, and based off that damage, likely telling play here that this is in fact a banded Iron Boulder. So it's still faster than the Necrozma. It is banded, so going to just play it safe, go into the Garchomp that you know resists. But man, that's more damage than you'd like.
Yeah, it's definitely more damage than you would like here. But now this Garchomp, I mean, it does have access to something like a Scale Shot here if it so wanted to, but you could even be aggressive here and just go for a Swords Dance right now, knowing that every Pokemon outside of that Staraptor, you're literally going to be faster.
We see the Swords Dance come out here. Mighty Cleave going to come out yet again.
Will that proc the Slackberry, though? No.
I don't think
so the Slackberries...
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing. In theory, we could see Scale Shot here if they don't want to run, click the Endure. If Scale Shot only hits 2 times, Iron Boulder lives. If it hits 3 times, Iron Boulder dies. So how risky do you want to be? Do you go for the Earthquake and guarantee the kill? Or do you want to try and get that speed boost and risk the roll?
You're definitely right there, because the fact that Gold has Endeavor on Staraptor here, honestly, I might risk the Scale Shot here personally. I might risk just getting that speed boost so you make sure that you're faster. No, so we're just gonna see the Endure on this turn, revealing it here. So Garchomp will live on 1 HP, and we will see the Slackberry hit. But now, Finn, I wonder if Iron Boulder drops to 2 on the Scale Shots now.
Oh, Iron Boulder now with the rough skin. I don't think it matters. You're at +1. This Garchomp at +1 should outspeed everything, including this Staraptor. I think you just go with the Earthquake to be safe to ensure that this is a kill and you don't even have to risk the miss. So we see the Iron Boulder get preserved. Hard swap out here. I'm surprised that the Iron Hands is what comes in.
Iron Hands is the Pokemon of choice here. Speed drop won't matter much, and it's just going to be a sacrifice here as this Earthquake is going to knock out Iron Hand.
So Garchomp picking up the kill, narrowing down the margin. Iron Hands goes down without being able to do a thing.
But now, see, here's the interesting thing, though. Because Garchomp just went for an attack, Endure could be chose here by Playmaker, and if Endure is the move of choice and Gold goes into that Staraptor, Rough Skin Recoil will knock out that Staraptor.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that's interesting, we see the Focus Sash. So Gold may be going to sack the Iron Boulder here to kind of... Oh, wait, no. Quick Attack. That's the reason for the sack. Guaranteeing being able to preserve them on. Didn't even see Quick Attack. They go for the Endure just to scout and see what happens. So it's going to take the Quick Attack, get some of the rough skin chip, but it's still dead to just another Quick Attack.
It is still dead to another Quick Attack, but the fact that Quick Attack was just revealed, though, I wonder if Playmaker just sacks off Garchomp here, brings something in like that Cinderace or the Necrozma kind of freely. I mean, Necrozma could come in because, I mean, Quick Attack, even with the Choice Band, you can still get up Calm Minds and Moonlights here relatively free.
Yeah.
Did you put the drops in his ear? You going to?
We see some
Alright.
debating going on here from the Garchomp side on Playmaker. Honestly, I mean, I'm with you. I feel like you have to potentially sack the Garchomp here just because of the fact you can bring the Necrozma in for free, and that's exactly what we see happen. The sacking of the Garchomp. Iron Boulder picks up a huge kill. Quick Attack being absolutely pivotal. Prevent that Garchomp from being able to do too much more. And with that,
You're
Gold...
absolute.
Oh.
No, here comes the Necrozma here. And again, can very easily just switch out the Iron Boulder here, knowing that a Calm Mind is probably going to come out from this Necrozma.
Yeah, and the interesting thing here is, if you are the Necrozma, do you click an attack move anticipating this Staraptor coming in, so that way they can't get the clean switch?
It's definitely a possibility here because the Necrozma, it does have access to Photon Geyser and Heat Wave, so honestly, anything is possible right now, but we're going to see a switch here into the Meowscarada. Making an appearance is the Meowscarada. Speed drop, of course, it'll be a little bit, but yep, there is the Calm Mind.
Yep, so this is going to be interesting. Now, one thing important note, because there's only 2 mons left for Playmaker, Goldoa has at the very least secured 1 point for themselves in our scoring system.
We're going to see that knockoff, I believe, was the move of choice here on the side of Meowscarada here. It is the knockoff. Here's the Protean into the Dark type. Big damage into Necrozma. But there's the weakness policy activation.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying here. They go for the Moonlight just to recover it away. This Necrozma is about to get very scary.
You are absolutely right here. But something like, I would think even like a Flower Trick would have done more damage on this next turn. But comes a +3 Heat Wave. Meowscarada lived, but it gets burnt. Okay, Finn, even though Meowscarada is going down here, is that good on Goldoa or sad for Playmaker that a +3 Necrozma can't KO a Meowscarada?
Well, the important thing to remember with that is the Meowscarada is no longer Grass type, so it wasn't a super effective move. So there's no stab, and there's no super effective stat with it.
Good point. I forgot about that.
So now the Staraptor comes in here, and it's about to sacrifice itself, in all honesty. And
the real question here is whether or not the Necrozma survives, because if Necrozma survives, it gets a Moonlight up here, and then what does Gold do?
It's going to be close. A min roll from Terraflying Bravebird here is doing 63.8% damage. So it's really going to depend on what roll we get and exactly how healthy it is. And we just see a swap out here. So it looks like the Cinderace is going to come in and be a sacrifice, which is very interesting here because now the Necrozma doesn't have the weakness policy anymore, doesn't have any of its stat boosts. And so we see...
And Cinderace just went down. So it's literally Necrozma versus the Iron Moth and the Iron Boulder left. But but like you said, it lost its boost, so...
Yeah, and I don't think it outspeeds either one of those Mons, so... This is going to potentially be interesting, especially as we already saw from the Necrozma. The Iron Boulder, even at -1, outspeeds. And the Mighty Cleave is doing 43 to 50%. So you can, in theory, just start to, Moonlight to try and recover and get out of range. But you only have, I believe, 6 or 7 more Moonlights left. And so it's just going to chip away. Now, one thing of important note, only 2 mons left for Goldoa. So Playmaker themselves has also secured 1 point out of this.
I'm actually curious though now if because we see that Iron Boulder is probably like 30% of its HP right now, maybe a little lower or a little more. Can Photon Geyser KO from this range?
No, it cannot. So the thing that's unfortunate here is all of the moves for the Necrozma are resisted. And so, unless you can set up, it's not going to one-shot, and so it's going to be a matter of trying to Moonlight out of it. Now, this is what's interesting. Gold's only got 3 more PP into the Mighty Cleave, so they are going to be forced to essentially swap out here. So, barring a crit, and
Nope,
instead
there's the
Playmaker
photon.
elects to go for the attack, and I think that's actually going to be the game as a result.
It is, because one more Mighty Cleave, and with that, the New York Empoleon pick up a 2-0 victory over the Atlanta Victory Stars, and the Violet Conference beats the Scarlet Conference here, despite both players playing in the opposite game.
Yep, well, as we saw last week, the Violet Conference was able to, or the Violet Conference fell to the Scarlet Conference in both. Well, this week, Goldoa gets a little bit of revenge, and right off the bat, a very, very solid win for them here, getting a 2-0, securing 2 points. And honestly, there's a lot in question with that whole Necrozma versus the World, but unfortunately, just didn't have enough speed to be able to beat the Iron Boulder 1v1. We are joined by both Goldoa and Playmaker. Gentlemen, fantastic battle. Goldoa, congratulations on the win. Playmaker, congratulations on securing a point.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
That was yeah, I did not expect Staraptor to go that hard, dude. Not gonna lie.
So, Gold, do you now see why I knew what the answer to your question was, but I could not answer you?
Yes, I respect you not answering me for that question, but it didn't really change anything because I obviously saw the information for myself. But
Yep.
Yeah, Staraptor was, I don't want to say stonewalled by Corviknight. But it definitely was. That was like the one thing that could come in reliably against it at all. And once I didn't see it, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let Staraptor break as much as it possibly can in this matchup. I was running an Endeavor set, so my hope was actually that you were going to be like Rocky Helmet Corviknight and just like get used to using it as a check, and then when I was at that low HP like I was in the end game, just popping in and being like Endeavor. But that didn't end up being a play I could make, and I think the Brave Bird ended up just being more valuable for me.
I will be honest, with the end game, I was a little surprised you didn't just keep clicking the Moonlight there play, because Mighty Cleave was almost out of PP.
Oh, really? I didn't even. No,
Mighty Cleave only
I
has
think
8.
Mighty Cleave PP would have run out at some point.
You had, I think, 2 more left after the match.
Yeah, so I actually thought about clicking Throat Chop, which I also had, but it did a little bit less. It did about 10% less than Mighty Cleave, and I was like, that's within the 10% range where Mighty Cleave looks to be doing about 50%, and stalling Moonlights more effectively. I'm open to, like, you know, the possibility of getting crits and stuff. But Throat Chop would have had enough PP to just be like, okay, I'm forcing you to eventually kill me and be at low health, which is probably what I was supposed to do. Because no matter how many Calm Minds you got up, I had a Focus Sash on my Iron Moth, and so I was going to be able to fire off one attack. And so if you were at low health, I was like, okay, I can maybe get off my one attack and win. But, like, that game, I mean, it's always fun to play you, dude. Like, every single time. I feel like every game is a toss-up. We've gone back and forth so many times in our careers.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, I thought I prepped pretty well for this one, but I just.
Staraptor Reckless hits way harder than you ever expect.
I was also just close to just letting Cinderace just like bite the bullet, turn 1, just clicking Powerball, which I should have done, just because like I guess it.
I think it would have been a 1-for-1 trade there, right? Pretty close to it, if not completely 1-for-1, because Powerball does like 60 to 70%. I was seeing, and then Brave Bird probably kills me with recoil.
Right. Yeah, I mean something like that, but.
Yeah. At most, I'm forced to then just like fire off a hit into, you know, Garchomp that can live 1, or Necrozma that can live 1, and just die, or Raikou even.
Yeah, so were you just banded then?
Scarfed. I wasn't even banded. That was Scarfster after, just reckless.
Scarf.
Reckless Terra Flying,
Wow.
Stab Bravebird. That was not even banded damage.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
That
Yeah,
thing
that-
with a band is horrifying.
That first turn was huge because that revealed that your Cinderace was scarfed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something
I mean,
that was something that we noticed at the beginning with that U-turn there. Now, Playmaker, what was your reaction when you saw Raikou and Umbreon, for that matter, take as much as it did from that Brave Bird?
I mean, I kind of expected Umbreon to like get 2 shots. I mean, I just pretty much was trying to take a sack at that point, which is fair. So yeah, I would have been good with the sack there, but and then with the Raikou, I thought maybe I could live 2, but I was like, dude, that's insane. Yeah, I just was like, okay, all right, game.
yeah, no, this Staraptor just went so hard, and when I didn't see the Corviknight, I was like, all right, it's just like click Brave Bird o'clock, I think is what my brain did. This was a fun week because it was banded Boulder, Specs, Primarina, and Scarfed Staraptor. And I was just like, click, stab, move, go burr. And yeah, I mean, you're honestly like, you got me in a really rough position. I really liked the way you got into the Garchomp, at the right time, and were able to use that opportunity to set up. And I'm so glad I brought Quick Attack because I didn't bring Fake Out on Iron Hands, and I didn't bring like Sucker Punch on Meowscarada, so that was my only form of priority that I actually had.
We were curious if you were going to try and click the Endure for the Salak or go for the Scale Shot to get the speed boost. I mean, I think either way, the end result is roughly the same, but that was kind of the big question: is do you go for the Scale Shot to get the speed boost? Because then I believe at that point, as long as it was 3 hits, it killed.
Yeah. And
I can't imagine I lived 2, to be honest, after a Swords Dance. I don't know.
Iron Boulder at the time lived 2 until you took more of the
rough skin. Okay.
The rough skin, yeah. But it's also one of those you don't always anticipate an Iron Boulder to be bringing Quick Attack.
Although you did click the Endure to scout for it, which I also thought was fun.
Yeah, I think mentally I just was thinking that that I would have that I was not going to outspeed for whatever reason with the Garchomp on that turn. I was like, oh wait, I should have just attacked, even if it was.
Yeah, did you ever consider Scale Shot after the Salac Berry proc?
It's just, yeah, I mean, it just didn't really matter at that point, just because I was already going to be at 1 HP, and that Quick Attack was just going to kill regardless. And then, I mean, I did think about swapping in I probably should have just swapped in Cinderace on that Quick Attack, get priority with the U-turn. Should have probably been my play. Instead of just letting Garchomp go down unnecessarily there.
Yeah, because if Staraptor had attacked it, because I pointed this out, where Staraptor's HP was any hit, and yeah, Garchomp would have went down, but it would have taken Staraptor down with the courtesy of its rough skin.
Yeah, and I didn't have a non-contact move on that thing, so.
I don't think rough skin would have done enough.
Rough skin's 1/8.
But Ruskin's 1/8, so it would have.
I was at exactly 10%. So.
Yeah.
But
But
because I was at 36 out of 363. I looked at that. And I was like, oh, that's neat.
You also aren't privy to the full, range and numbers like we are, so it's a lot easier for us to say here, as armchair coaches, like, oh, that makes more sense. It's like, yeah, we have all the information. Of course, we know it makes more sense.
But hey, I mean, honestly, great gameplay. Like again, I look forward to the fact that we play each other at least once every year in the TBL, just because it is always a really fun game to prep for, always a really fun game to play.
Yeah, it was a fantastic match play. I know we've
And
questioned a lot, but
you'll get me back next time I'm sure of it. So
I loved your Necrozma set. In all honesty, it was extremely bulky. Like, taking less than 50% from an iron boulder that's banded really made it just an annoying threat. Unfortunately, this Staraptor was too much of a risk with that final, Brave Bird of potentially killing the Necrozma and having to lose all the special attack boosts.
Yo, can we just talk about how Gold brought Brick Break? Like, dude, I didn't even know I was bringing screens this game until like last night, man. And then here you are. It's like, oh yeah, I just got a Brick Break. Just
I actually also had Brick Break on Boulder.
I was gonna say, you want to tell him Gold?
Yeah, that's courtesy of Fin for facing me in a mock with a screens Umbreon and just then setting up in the Necrozma behind it and me being like, I think I need an answer to that. And I don't need other fighting stab on my Iron Hands right now, and I had a free move slot on the Boulder. Actually, what's funny is originally I had actually prepped Boulder to have a Mighty Cleave and Stone Edge because I was worried about running out of Mighty Cleave PP during this match, and I got rid of Stone Edge for Brick Break. But that would have been a really stressful endgame, I think, if I had been baited into clicking Stone Edge for PP purposes into the Necrozma at the end game and seeing what happens from there.
Does it miss or does it crit? Find out now.
Yeah, so but like Brick Break ended up being a really valuable like piece of tech, thanks. And again, that's courtesy of Fin, so you can blame him for that one.
I was gonna say, I think the big things from the scrims we had were the protect and then the quick attack, making sure you had some priority for revenge.
Yeah, I mean that your team play it forces such deep prep. I feel like you have to be so careful with every move slot of every Pokemon for your team. I was so strained on things that I thought I needed, and we saw a few of them come up again, like the PP possibility of failing, like running out on a Mighty Cleave, and the Brick Break tech and things like that. Like my Iron Hands also had Heavy Slam for the Clefable because I just needed something for it, and it literally, that move was never going to get clicked against any Pokemon on your entire roster except Clefable. Your team just forces so much of that. Like, well, this move slot is like, I have to designate something to it, which means I can't run Fake Out, I can't run, Drain Punch or Close Combat or any of these other moves that I would like to run, because I need coverage for that mon. So
yeah,
I love your roster. I mean, it's a very classic Playmaker roster, but every time you use it well. So
Gold will tell you, your roster has so many fun capabilities. I even showed a Hone Claws, Iron Defense, Power Trip, Corviknight, because it just has so many different fun variables you can run with it.
But yeah, Play, honestly, like, I'm excited for you to be in the league this year, and as you always are, and just play with this roster and see what you do with it.
yeah, man. Likewise. Yeah, at least we got a full season left, and
Oh yeah, it's only week 2.
Plenty of season left to go, guys.
And you're what, first in your division? Like, let's
Still, and there's a chance
Yeah.
that Play will still be after this because they have 4 points, which I think they are the only one to have. Well, there are 2 teams with 3 from last week, but yeah, if the Canadian Spirit Villages win, or lose, then you've got a decent chance to still be in first after this week, going 1-1.
It helps when you get that point.
Every point matters.
every point matters.
But once again,
What was
Gold,
the,
congrats. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Play.
Sorry, what was the Iron Moth set?
I'll show you all my sets. I'll post them all, but it was Focus Sash, Fire Dance, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Agility.
Okay.
The dual stabs just looked really good in this matchup, and I thought about going hard Moth right away into your Necrozma, like in that end game, right, where it's Boulder and Moth and I have a choice. I thought about going Moth right away because Sludge Wave has a chance to poison, which could help me. But if you start setting up Calm Minds and I just can't do enough to pressure you, then I'm in a lot of danger very quickly. So I felt like I had to go Boulder, but I think Moth actually had a very interesting matchup. That was my other choice into your Garchomp, but you didn't reveal your last move, and I was worried it was Scale Shot. I was like, I think Earthquake is baited because it's 100% accurate and quad effective, and I should just die to an Earthquake. But if you click Scale Shot, my Focus Sash is useless. So after a Swords Dance, so I guess I have to just go Quick Attack Boulder here instead of the Sash Moth, because I just was like, I can't afford to risk that you would read the Focus Sash and go for a Scale Shot in that situation.
Yeah, I think I would just place EQ regardless.
Which is so super reasonable in that scenario, but I felt like I had to
Yeah, because
use the Boulder there.
having been in that position, nothing sucks worse than when you out or try to get too fancy and overread. You click the Scale Shot, you miss, and you find out, oh no, the item was just, a Shukaberry that at +2 is completely useless.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought about the Moth in that situation against the Garchomp, which would have given me a little bit more HP on the Boulder for later, but that I felt, and not locking it in with on Quick Attack, which I was a little worried about doing. But thankfully it ended up working out.
But yeah, no, fantastic match. It was a lot of fun to watch. Once again, Gold, congratulations on the win. Play, congratulations on the point. Definitely did a great job to turn what was a rough start of the game to really turn it around and bring it as close as it was at the end. But that will do it for us here in this match. We have more matches coming up this weekend, including 2, I believe, this Sunday and 1 tomorrow. So please don't be a stranger. Come on back. But as we let you go, just as a reminder, whatever you do in life, just have fun with it. We appreciate you all. Have a good one and take care. Bye.
Bye.